Hey guys, it's Beth, and today I'm back with some other scrapbooking projects that I've done using my Happy Fall pad from CraftSmith. And don't forget that I am doing this as part of a couple collaborations. One is with any of you who happen to have the Happy Fall pad and wanted to craft along with me. Just be sure that if you are using this pad along with me and you post anything on social media or on YouTube that you hashtag BC Crafts Happy Fall and tag me if you can. And I'm also doing a collaboration with Leah over at Ode to Crafts here on Ode to Paper, sorry, here on YouTube. And we are just doing any paper pad that's fall related. So we're both working on a fall pad from Michael's, but she has a different pad than I do. And so if you don't have the Happy Fall pad, but you have another fall pad that you are wanting to work on, then you can join us in that collaboration. And the hashtag for that one was fallpaperpadsunite. And again, that's just any fall pad, and we're just trying to get people to kind of craft along together, get some cute, fun fall projects done, and use up some of the paper in your stash. So I have done another little scrapbook with some of the scraps that I had left. You saw it briefly if you watched my envelope album tutorial. I used it as an example of like a very simple way to finish off your album without doing a whole separate cover. So this one I did keep very simple. I didn't add an extra cover. I just decorated the top envelope and the bottom envelope as my front and back cover. And then the binding, I did add some gold paper here like I did on my other like binder type albums, just because I liked how it finished it off, and it gives the front like a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of flair. And then I also added, this is part of a 12 by 12 sheet that had like this ledger design, and then on the right hand side it had a fall saying and then the cute little owl. And so I took the fall saying and turned it into a tag for the other scrapbooks that I did, and decided to use the cute little owl here on this cover, and then added a Happy Fall cut apart at the bottom that also had some gold in it. And then I did ink the edges of all my cut aparts and my paper throughout the album except for this gold piece that I used to bind it. And this went together really quickly because I actually found an envelope album that I had already put together. I was looking for something one day and ran across this, and I'm like, ooh, that'd make a really quick project. So the envelopes are like a weird size. They're like 4 3/4 wide and then 7 1/4 inches long. And I'm sure I either inherited them from somewhere or found them in a big bag of envelopes like when I was thrifting. I always tend to get some weird sizes when I do that, and as long as they're all the same size, if I can find a group that are all the same size, I will use them as a scrapbook. So I don't let them go to waste, but the envelopes are white, and so that's why I inked my edges, just because the color theme of this is more of like a creamy beige. And so I didn't like how some of the paper stood out against the white, so I just inked the edges of everything. And like I said, kept it very simple. I didn't add a whole lot of embellishment other than some of these little label type cut aparts that I had a bunch left of. And I did not open the ends of the albums, so there's no pockets on this one. It's just these pages. And I like to do some quick albums like this. You've seen me show these before. One, just because they're really fun and quick to put together, and two, it gives me another album price point to offer people. Not everybody can afford, to pay for a more detailed scrapbook, or nor may they not want it. Maybe they just want something quick and simple as well. And these are also great for kids or, younger people who, just want something inexpensive that they can add, their own pictures or their own touch to and gift it to somebody, like one of their friends. So these albums that go really quick and are just very simply based, are great for that type thing. And I think because I already had the album pages put together, like, the envelopes, they were already glued together for my base. I think I had everything cut and inked and put down within 45 minutes. I kind of did it in pieces, so I don't know for sure, but it didn't take very long at all. It was very quick. And then I also wanted to do some 12 by 12 pages for my albums out of this pad. I have a goal, one of my crafty goals for this year is to finish scrapbooking my pictures from 2012 by the end of 2019. So I knew I had some fall pictures from 2012 yet to scrapbook, so I decided to take advantage of this paper for that. And I did use some sketches on some of these, but very loosely, just kind of give me a point to jump from, just to speed up the process a little bit. I think I did most of these in one day. I think I did 2 others on a different day, but kind of went fairly quickly for me. So this is the sketch I started with for this one, but I turned it this way and then changed up the bottom. So really, I just wanted the picture layout and kind of the background to get me started. And this, I will link all the sketches I've used below in the description box. This one doesn't have a name on it, but I will link it below for you. But basically just use scraps. I did have a big piece of this brown paper left, so just used that and then scraps of some of the other ones. This was, the foxes were a border strip. These were all cut aparts. And the Fall Fun, those are some brown letters that I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby recently. So those came in handy. And then these leaves came from a Stickabilities sheet with some woodland animals on it. So I also got that from Hobby Lobby. And the colors don't really go with the paper from the pad, but they did go with the pictures. And I needed something up here to bring some color up to the very top. So I went with those. So that was for my daughter's album. This one is for my album. And again, I started with a sketch, and this one is from Sketch and Scrap blogspot.com. So didn't follow it to a T, but again, it gave me a starting place. So I did follow, I put this big strip of paper here that I had left, and then instead of adding another strip of pattern paper over here on the left-hand side like it called for, I didn't have any strips that went, like any that were that thin that went with these pattern, or that I wanted to use on this. And I had pulled out some peach and gold dot washi tape when I pulled out this pad, just because the color's kind of tied, and I hadn't used it on anything yet. So this is just washi tape. And then I've got cut aparts here, and actually 2 of them, October and Fall Gathering, are from the pad cover, and the other 2 are from the cut apart sheet. And then the rest of it is just, there's some border strips that are layered together down here. And then the Fall Fun letters were just some brown letters from my stash. And then the little hedgehog, I couldn't think of what he was, and the acorn up here, those are from that little woodland Stickabilities set from Hobby Lobby as well. So here is another set from 2012, and this is the sketch I started with from this one. It's from Split Coast Stampers, created by Cheryl Even, not sure how that's pronounced. But it just used some strips and then some photo mats, like and then it called for a circle, but I didn't end up using that. And so my strips here, like I knew I wanted to use the brown just as a neutral, and then I knew I wanted to use the blue wood grain patterned from the pad as my photo mat. So I needed a strip here that kind of pulled those colors together, and also pulled in, I knew I wanted to use this cut apart, so I also pulled in some peach. So I didn't have any that were long enough. The sketch called for it to be like 11 inches, and I didn't have any that were that. So this is actually cut, and it's 2 pieces that I just tried to line up. And I did that on both pages, just with different patterns. Just needed one strip that kind of pulled in all the other colors. So then I used a bunch of those little label cut aparts. And then one of the patterns in the pad, so there were 2 pages of it, of just the alphabet with like fall designs on them. And I wasn't really sure how to use most of them, so I had been looking through the alphabet, just trying to figure out what else I could do with the letters. And originally for this page, I was going to use Cutie as my title. And so then as I was flipping through the letters later on, I'm like, ooh, I can just do Q and T to stand in for the word QT. So that's my very loose interpretation on the slang for, or abbreviation for QT. And then I just used some gold letters that I also got from Hobby Lobby on clearance recently to spell out my at the top. And then this one is Ellie's page, and it just says little QT. And then this picture is actually not from 2012, it's from 2014. But I had seen this cut apart that says rake, pile, jump, and knew I should scrap some leaf pile jumping, leaf pile fun. And when we built our house, it was farmland. So we have there was one tree on our property when we built it, and it's way up front, and it's half dead at this point. And then we have like a little bit of woods in the back, but you can't really get to underneath them because it's, I don't know, it's just kind of wooded, and there's vines and roots and all kinds of stuff. So it's not really rakeable. So all the other young trees on our property have never had enough leaves to even do anything with until this year. So up until that, for many years, the only time my girls ever got to play in a leaf pile was when they went to my dad's. And so this was right before he sold his house in October of 2014. And I taught the girls how to rake up the leaves and jump in them, and something so simple, but they had just never gotten to do it before. So, and I only have one picture of it, but I wanted to be sure to document that. It's rare that you'll see me do a scrapbook page with just one picture on it. I'm usually getting as many pictures on there as I can, but I just knew I wanted to use that. So, and then I decided to use the leaf paper as kind of my background. I hadn't used any like patterned paper as my background yet, so used up that. Pulled in a bunch more of those little cut aparts. And then here I did find a use for a few more of those alphabet cut aparts, just to spell out fun. And on this one, I have the same little cut aparts that were on the last page, but these are from the pad cover. So they had a bunch of, of the same things that were on the pad cover that I was able to use. And, the pad only had 2 of each page, so there were only 2 of the rake, pile, jump cut aparts, but luckily there was also one that was on the pad cover, so I got to do a 3rd page with that. And then I only had 1 page left of this deer, so I just decided to use that for my album page. Again, doing just some of the little cut aparts up there. So I got 3, 6, 7 12 by 12 pages, and then 3 scrapbooks so far out of this pad, and we're still going. So, but I do have a big question for you all. I need your help. I have figured out that I can spell a few other words out of these letters that are either like a card sentiment or fall related. So like I can do hi, H-I, and put that on a card, and then I can spell, I think I have the letters left for leaves, so I could always spell those out and just do like a door hanger or something with those, a little wall hanging. But other than that, I have no idea what to do with the rest of these letters. I don't really want to go the route of like a monogram card or anything like that unless it's for someone specific. So I guess I could do some of these, like, I do have a daughter that starts with an A, but if you guys have any other ideas on what to do with the letters, I would love to hear it. This is the only part of the pad that I'm really struggling with. I know I can always turn it over and use the back to stamp on or mat something with, but if you have any ideas on how to actually use the letters like X, let me know. I'm all ears. Would love to hear your suggestions. So let me know about those, and let me know if you guys are still working on your fall pads. Don't forget to use the hashtags and tag me and or Leah, depending on which of the collaborations you might be participating in. But I hope you guys are getting some fall crafting done. It may not feel like fall everywhere yet, but I hope you're getting in the fall mood, getting some fun fall crafts done. I should be back later this week with some more little projects from this pad, so stay tuned for that. But I thank you guys for your time today, and I hope you're having a crafty day.